She arrived just after sunset, the sky painted in deep purple and amber orange, dragging a brown suitcase that had seen better years and cradling a flustered white hen in her arms. The townsfolk watched from their porches, curious, murmuring behind their coffee cups. No one ever came into Pine Hollow. People only left. Her name was Cora, and she was 26, red-haired and tired-eyed, with a stubborn lift in her chin that suggested she was running from something, maybe a man, maybe a memory, maybe herself. But she didn't speak of it. She didn't speak much at all. The only thing she said as she stood on the cracked porch of the old sawmill cabin was, "Is the lumberjack hiring?" The man who opened the door wasn't what she expected. He wasn't hulking or grim, not the caricature she had imagined from stories passed down in whispers. Eli Thatcher was quiet, broad-shouldered, with a deep beard and gentler eyes than any man she'd ever met. He looked at her suitcase, then the chicken. The hen blinked at him, clueless. He said simply, "The hen can stay. You decide." That was how Cora's new life began. Cora worked hard. Every day at dawn, she was out by the log pile, sorting and stacking. The hen, named Waffles, followed her like a shadow, pecking around, laying eggs that Cora sold to the general store. She cooked, cleaned the cabin, and never asked for more than her keep. Eli barely spoke at first. He wasn't used to company, he'd lived alone since his father passed, and the silence had become both comfort and prison. But something about the way Cora quietly made space without invading it cracked a door inside him. She didn't ask about the photo of a woman on the mantel. He didn't ask about the bruises that were fading under her sleeves. Instead, they found conversation in small things. "Soup needs salt. You saw the hawks today?" Waffles tried to bite Mr. Halley again. Small became enough. One night, Cora burned the stew. Eli didn't say a word. He simply opened a jar of peaches and set it on the table beside 2 spoons. They ate in silence, then laughed at the absurdity. It was the first real laugh she had in months. Maybe years. The next morning, he built her a chicken coop. "Figured Waffles deserves her own place now," he said, avoiding her eyes. But she saw the message behind it, "You deserve your place too." As weeks bled into months, their bond deepened. They chopped wood together, walked through the forest trails, sat by the fire reading books she found in the dusty attic. Cora began singing again, soft, half-remembered lullabies she once knew. Eli listened quietly, and sometimes hummed along. But the peace wasn't meant to last unchallenged. One bitter March morning, a man came up the trail to the cabin. His name was Judd. He wore a city coat, fine boots, and a grin that never reached his eyes. "You left without saying goodbye," he said to Cora, voice like ice. "Made me worry." Eli stood between them, arms crossed. Cora didn't flinch. "I didn't say goodbye because I wasn't coming back." Judd laughed and looked around. This is where you've been hiding? With a lumberjack and a chicken?" Eli didn't say a word. He didn't need to. His presence alone was enough. "I'm not hiding," Cora said, holding Waffles close. "I'm rebuilding." Judd narrowed his eyes. "You think you'll be safe here forever?" Cora looked him in the face, steady and calm. "I don't think. I know." He left with a final glare, and Eli watched until the man disappeared into the trees. That night, Cora cried for the first time in front of Eli. He didn't try to fix it. He just let her rest her head against his chest as the fire cracked. "I was always too small," she whispered. "Too fragile. That's what he told me. That I needed someone to tell me what to do. And for a while, I believed him." Eli looked down at her. "You're not small. You're brave." She smiled, through tears. "And Waffles?" He chuckled. "Waffles is ridiculous. But loyal." Spring came with wildflowers and longer days. Cora began painting the cabin in cheerful colors, planting herbs and daisies by the windows. The townsfolk stopped watching from porches, they started waving, inviting her for tea, asking her for advice about chickens. One morning, Eli brought out a box. Inside it was a small key. Found this in the shed. Belongs to the old garden gate. Thought you might like a place to plant something of your own. Cora held the key tight. She knew what he was really giving her, roots. 1 year to the day she arrived, Cora stood by the garden, watching Waffles chase butterflies. Eli came up beside her. He said, "I wasn't sure you'd stay." She looked at him. "You said I had to decide." "And?" "I decided. The hen can't live here alone." He grinned. "So you're staying for Waffles?" "For Waffles, and maybe the guy who built her a coop." They stood there, two souls once broken, now whole.